a drum sound. Maybe not a stab, not a chord either, but more like a... Well, we can extract, let's do that for fun. Let's extract a tone out of a drum sound, out of this one. So what I do is I loop it, and I make a short loop. So I just get like a waveform. Okay. So now this is like a tiny loop. Now, one thing that maybe most people haven't noticed is that down here, there's this scale thing. Now, if I put this down to 50% and play the same thing, it's not the same, because now it's down to 50%, so it will play quarter notes. The interesting thing about this one is that the oscillator that's available in this Ableton sampler, which can do FM or AM modulation to your sample, does not follow the same key tracking. So the sound will morph and chords will be kind of wild. And of course you can have this at any percentage you want. You get some crazy sound effects by doing this. Why is this not okay? Okay, yeah, you can play around with it forever. And it's good for like weird sound effects or strange chords, or you know, maybe it's you can get like kind of microtonal with this, I guess. Now another trick I want to talk about is not with the oscillator, or you can. Okay, let's go down. So I can do Command G, and I can layer this as well. I can duplicate this, and I can have one set to a, let's say, a scale 100 and 1, and the other one to 99. Shout out to Cosmodot for showing me this. Hopefully he's not too pissed off I'm showing it to everybody. And you can of course take this further, you know, do more layers with slightly off the scale tuning. So it's like unison that gets tighter and tighter around middle C3, but of course you can change this to any note you like. And of course you can do this with any sample you like. And you know, you can always get the oscillator involved again. Well, you know, maybe not. And of course, let's not forget, which I probably did, yeah, I want best interpolation. I'll have to do it 4 times. And I think the sampler out of all of the instruments that come with Ableton is probably my favorite. And this, including what I've mentioned with the drums, I think I've pretty much covered the sampler, at least how I use it. Okay, I'll do a short segment about EQ. Okay, maybe not necessary. Oh yeah, I highly recommend getting one of these. I guess the older ones are probably pretty cheap secondhand now. It's just like a stereo recorder that I can take anywhere, and then I can sample drums from the real world from, you know, any sound really. You can process them the same way in the sampler, of course. You could even run it through a modular, if you like, through filters and so on and so on. Layer them with synthetic sounds to create this some sort of uncanny or weird, ambiguous sounds that you can't really tell if are real or not. I guess you could take it all the way to that, but I recommend this for sampling. For sampling, you sample your kitchen. You can take it to the hardware store. I did that once. I took it and I was playing around with the pipes and the chains and stuff. And if you can take it to the junkyard or whatever, you can or take it to the instrument store. You know, why not? So you know you can mix reality with manipulate reality, I guess. So here I have a song. Work in progress, but let's take a look at these hats. If I can even see it here on that there is this resonant peak. Let's enlarge this. Let's make, which one was it? This one here. So a good way is to sweep through, and when you find one that's extra loud, you can turn it down. And it will often improve the sound of your hats. Also, when working with, especially with high frequencies, you want to turn oversampling on. To not have to deal with something called cramping, which forces this line here to go back to 0 at 22K. And let's just see what happens if it changed its shape. But in general, you want to have oversampling on when working, especially in higher frequencies. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, 2 low shelves, I favor that to slow cut. Something a Kuldabolli told me about. And also, yeah, I mentioned earlier 628 hertz is middle of the mid-range, and your mix should, you know, somewhat favor that part of the spectrum, or should have not just bass and high end.